Brandon Benefield, Gerard Bonner, and Diana Michelle.
What's going on, everybody? It's that time of the week. It's Friday. You know what that means. It's time for your favorite podcast, SHW. This is our wrestling. I'm B-Double Brandon Benefield, alongside the great Gerard Bonner and the beautiful Diana Michelle. And yes, last week we came to you with our year-in review a week early, but that's because we had to reserve this Friday, today, for our preview show for SHW58, which is coming up next Friday, January 5th. We're going to be kicking off the new year in a big, big way. SHW58 Year of Honor. But before we get into that, you guys, we just had Christmas earlier this week. How's everybody feeling? Did everybody survive the holiday so far?
Yeah.
All right. You don't sound very confident.
That was really interesting.
No.
Did you barely survive?
No, we survived, but it just went by so fast and so calmly this year that it kind of did not feel like Christmas. And I don't think I'm alone with.
It was so warm.
Yeah,
it's warm this year.
And it was cool up until the day of, and then it was like 70. And I'm a little more south than you guys, so it was like. And we were doing our thing at my parents' house, and they were like, "Oh, Dana needs to bring chili." So I brought chili, but it's hot, and I don't want chili. Everybody ate until they were full, and it was great, and it is what it is. So,
well, there you go.
Christmas, happy holidays.
Yeah.
GB, you had a rambunctious 4-year-old. How'd that go?
Yeah, it was some kind of fun. We were joking in previous years about, we can't wait until he can open gifts and be excited. Oh, we could wait. We could wait.
Oh,
he was
yes, I'm
fully aware. And so we had to kind of, not make sure that there were gifts under the tree until, the morning of, because he had already opened up a box about a week early. And so, yeah, but he is happy with his Christmas, which I think is very good. And it's funny. I was thinking, because, as we are adults, Christmas just doesn't feel the same. And in conversations I've been having, one of the things that we've kind of landed on is, it doesn't feel the same because as kids, we were really carefree and we were waiting for somebody to give gifts to us. Now we're the ones making memories. And so, we have the stress or lack thereof of, what do I get? How much do I spend? Are they going to be happy, etc., which just doesn't feel the same as waking up and magically there are things there. So I wish somebody had warned us about this in that whole becoming an adult packet that we
I
never
want
got.
to know how our parents did it, because I haven't caught on yet. I haven't figured it out. I don't feel like I'm able to produce a Christmas that my Santa Claus produced for me. So it's like,
what was the? I don't understand. I don't get the. What does that mean?
Well, we all have different Santas. Did you not know that?
What?
We
I
all
thought
have
he just. Oh wow. Okay. No, everybody has their own thing. That's cool.
Oh, you guys just don't mind me. This is just my perspective.
Well, this could get interesting. This could get very interesting. It's interesting though, because as I'm thinking about it, and I won't get too heavy into it. On one hand, like they didn't have Amazon, and they didn't have those kinds
They had the JCPenney catalog.
They did, which was undefeated, by the way.
It still is undefeated if we have one.
They managed, somehow we managed to say, hey, these are the things we want, and they managed to find them somehow, and I don't know how they did it. I think the other side of it too is perhaps economics were a little different.
Yes.
Then, they weren't paying $3 and change a gallon for gas and $6 for milk and all of that stuff. So it kind of, and then even the things that they were getting were a little more affordable then as well. So I do think this, though, and this is the last non-wrestling thing I think I'll say. I think Christmas Day proved that global warming is real.
Oh my God.
Because I cannot believe it literally rained all day when we're talking about a white Christmas. How does that happen?
Yeah. It rained all day and it got up to, like 60, 70 almost. Like it was, oh, hey, GB. GB's got a dance party. He's got a dance party going on.
It's just, doing what it wants to do. So
Well, he's
I'm
getting
here.
ready. He's getting ready
Yeah,
for the dance
we're
party, which is the SHW58 preview. Year of Honor
yes.
coming up, like I said, next Friday, January 5th. I cannot believe we're almost in 2024. How did this happen?
Yeah. Yeah.
We just had Christmas. It's insane.
Mhm.
The time is just flying by. It
Yeah.
was another exciting year of Southern Honor Wrestling. We talked about it last week, went through all the previous shows, and now we have another big card stacked up for our first one of 2024 as we basically get year 6 really off and going here for SHW. But we have 7 big matches announced. And of course, you never know what might happen at the show because it seems like the last several shows we end up with these impromptu matches that weren't announced ahead of time. So who knows
Right.
what to expect? We say it all the time. You never know who might show up. You never know what might happen. But one match that we did find out about not last month, but earlier this month at SHW 57, Alexander Lev and making his in-ring debut for Southern Honor Wrestling, Cody Fluffman. Now, Lev literally got pied in the face at the last show, and some say it might have cost him the match against the Duckman. And so, yeah, Lev's going to be coming out of that match very frustrated, obviously, I would think. And Fluffman, though, really kind of getting in his head a little bit and really teeing it up here for his big debut next Friday. So I can't wait to see this one. I know you guys have seen Fluff other places. I've seen him kind of here and there. Of course, he's been backstage at a lot of our shows, but this will be the first time he's in the ring. So I'm excited for this one. How do you guys feel about it?
I think Alexander Lev
Here we go.
maybe has bitten off a bit more than he can chew with Cody body positive Fluffman. I mean, he's kind of forced his way in, just kind of took over things. I don't know how that happened. How he
he was watching the show from the crowd a couple months ago. Lev called him out from the mic.
No, Lev has kind of made his way.
I see what you mean. Yeah, absolutely.
He's kind of forced his way in. Fluffman, he's welcome anytime in my book. I love
Absolutely.
I love it. He has this one move that I can't wait to see, and I hope to God he gets a chance to do that's like a steamroller where he just like rolls over his opponent and rolls back, and it's just so much fun. I'm looking forward to seeing how the crowd's going to respond to him, really, because he just brings a great presence and he's entertaining.
Yeah,
and he's good. He's so much.
Yeah, it feels like the theme for this SHW58 is debut, because we're going to have, again, a show with a number of talents that are new to an SHW space. And I think Fluffman is going to be fun. You know, it's interesting. It's been said that it's almost very difficult to debut in front of an SHW crowd. They like who they like, and you have to really make a strong impression that first time out. We've seen a couple of people, first time out really do it, and then others have had to win the crowd over. I think Fluffman, what I like about Fluffman is he's kind of your everyday wrestler, and when I say that, I think what has happened in the space of wrestling is, this image has been created where, and it's really like that in life too. Like you go on Instagram and all these places, and all of these people look incredible, but they don't look like the average person you see every day. And so Fluffman really resembles the average everyday person that you see walking around in your neighborhood. You might see them at the mall, etc. And so I think people will get an opportunity to see, okay, everybody who is not a mesomorph can pop in the ring and have a chance. Now, Lev, I think, has taken the strategy. You mentioned, Diana, that he's kind of taken over. It's a strategy that we've seen before. I hearken back to 2020 when a certain person, found their way onto our podcast and, they lobbied their way into a certain Rumble Jack and eventually used their powers for good to win over a lot of people. Lev has used the same thing, but he's used his powers in a different way. And so it's a brilliant strategy, I think. He has now put himself on the card once again where he's advertised. And again, you can't count him out. But with that said, I think he has ruffled so many feathers with Fluffman that I wouldn't be surprised if people brought desserts and the like to assist Mr. Fluffman in getting one up on Lev.
If they weren't thinking about it, they are now.
I think I just planted the idea,
Yeah.
yeah. Instead of bring your weapon, bring your dessert match. Yeah.
Exactly. Oh,
yeah.
You got to be careful putting them around me though, because if it's a community cake or something, community pie,
we
if
know
it's
how
on our
that
table,
goes.
I might dig in. I'm just saying,
yeah.
you got to tell me
Yeah.
what it's for
Yeah.
beforehand. Anyways,
Fair enough. Fair enough.
You know how that ends. It didn't end well for me. I will say this about Lev. Like him or not, he actually on his social media earlier this week just put out a video, kind of a almost like a time-lapse video of him in SHW from earlier this year up to this past show. And the evolution, or as he called it, the levolution of himself throughout this past year, it's rather impressive. I'm not going to lie. Like him or not, like his tactics or not, like his mentality or not, there's a new category this year in the GWH Awards. Rookie of the Year is one of those awards, and I'd be hard-pressed to find somebody else who's had a better rookie year. That's just me. Now, we've seen him dating back to his graduation from the Nightmare Factory. We called his showcase, and that was, was it last year? Many months ago.
Not long ago, yeah.
Yeah, but it was within the past year, it seems like. And so we've seen his progression. Yeah. And can you just picture GB, like, now the SHW audience may not recognize him from this, but we saw him at that showcase with the short hair, the bright colored trunks, like the positive, bubbly attitude. Like, it's such a different metamorphosis that we've seen him go through over the last, 6-8 months. It's pretty crazy. So I think if anybody's up for Rookie of the Year, I think he should at least be nominated at the very least, but that's just me.
There's a part of me that's wondering, are we exchanging Bryce Cannon for Alexander Lev? Just wondering.
I don't know. You know what? There's a few people I feel like that kind of fit that bill, because you've got Hollywood Hunter James. You've got
that.
You've got Nick Halen.
He's just in a Hunter James he probably could have come in as an exotic youth member, and I know he kind of played that part at one time, and again, like him or hate him, Hunter James is really in his own. This is him. This is everybody else with their own little thing. But this is Hunter. But then you got Bryce and you got Zach and you got Pep. But I don't think he's fitting in anybody's mold himself. I don't know if Alexander Lev is actually fitting in somebody else's mold either. But he kind of but he came out with that, and I'm gonna say it. He came out with that whole "I am your Messiah" thing, and it rubbed me wrong.
Oh, you don't say.
It rubbed me so wrong. I could go on. And I've had conversations with the great David Ali about his entrance being crapped on, but it is what it is, It's
that was Diana. That was Diana. I'm staying out of
it.
I am staying out of it.
I'm sorry. I have strong feelings.
But you're proving my point in that
I will say this:
the great annoyer.
I took what GB just asked about taking Bryce's place as people who rubbed me the wrong way overall. One of those,
no Johnny Gill here.
Yeah, one of those being, a Hunter James, who's just that arrogant, cocky attitude. Yeah. You really just want to smack him. And now Lev coming out with this whole "I am faithful" and trying to get the crowd to join him. He's the new Messiah. That just irks me as well. And to see him get pied, despite all the nice things I just said about him, now getting back into what's happening in SHW and what's going to be happening next week, I did love to see Fluffman hit him with that pie right in the face. Oh, it was something sweet, literally and figuratively. And it kind of cost him the match there. So anyways, going to be a fun one. I'm excited to see Fluff debut, SHW debut in the ring. And we'll see what Lev can do here, coming off of being humiliated like that in front of the crowd, a crowd that he's been trying to work his way into. And here's the other thing too. I will say, over the last several months that he's been there, when he comes out and does his whole spiel, I'm hearing more and more and more of the SHW faithful chanting along with the "I am faithful." So I don't know what to make of that, but we'll see. We'll see.
Hashtag Alleluia.
Yeah, something similar has happened before. I mean, history tends to repeat itself from time to time.
It took me a long time to get behind the Hallelujah thing, so just don't expect me to be happy about the whole Messiah thing.
As long as Lev doesn't come over with the barbed wire bat to GB's throat, and then I get, it's a whole thing. I don't want to get into that, but if that doesn't happen again, it couldn't happen. It couldn't be soon enough. So, anyways, let's move on to the next match.
Next.
Najicism. Last month, he put out an open challenge. He was riding high, had the confidence at an all-time high after coming off the 3 stages of hell victory back in November over Owen Knight. Put out an open challenge last month, or earlier this month, rather. And, at first we thought Kenway was going to answer it. Turned out to be Nick Halen, the end game surrounding the ring. Kenway at the time joining up sort of side by side with the end game. And it was just the numbers game. It was too much for Najicism. You had people getting involved. You had CT Keys mainly getting involved on the outside, setting up this matchup for next week. CT Keys versus Najicism. I won't touch too much on the match the month before with CT Keys, but I will say this, that Sexton, when he came out earlier this month, I'll get it right. It's still December. I'm already in January. But Sexton even said, it is going to be Halen because we all know CT Keys needs to fight people his own size. Now, take that however you want. We all kind of know what he meant by that. But here we go. This month, or this January, or 1 week from today, CT Keys stepping into the ring with Najicism. Styles clash here. You got the big, brute, brawling style of CT Keys, the high-flying quickness of Najicism. And I can't wait to see it. Because some people would be like, oh, Najicism's going to, get beat up, and CT's going to just take it to him. But I'm like, I don't know. Have you seen Naja lately? Did you see him in the 3 stages of hell? Did you see him coming off the wall through the table? Come on, people. So I don't know. This one's, I think it's going to be a lot closer than people expect. Just my guess.
Go ahead, G.
I was just going to say, I need a mask for what I'm about to say. But I feel like CT Keys may be playing the role of Miley Cyrus because he comes in like a wrecking ball. And when he did, it was a real problem, dare I say, for his previous competitor. So I'm hoping Naja watched that match. With that said, Naja's in a class on his own. Yeah. I mean, Naja kind of reminds me of Crash Holly when he thought he was a super heavyweight. Like he believes he's 6'9", he's 400 pounds, and he moves like a cruiserweight. So he's not intimidated by someone of a larger size or of a larger stature. Not intimidated at all. In fact, I think Naja wants some degree of revenge.
Oh, yeah.
I'm also nervous, though, because CT Keys is a problem. He's a problem. And so I just hope Naja comes in fully charged, ready to go, with tons of revenge on his mind. If CT Keys takes Naja lightly, could be a very interesting night. And with that said, I hope there's a barricade around us because CT Keys is a wild boy.
Yeah.
He just carries such a presence. The first time I walked through the curtain, this is CT Keys, cutthroat CT Keys. It was just like, dude, he's got this chain around his neck and he's just walking like he just owns the world, and he's aligned with Endgame. I mean, there's just so much working for him, Naja's, we know what Naja can do. We've seen him at his best. We've seen him not lose very often in any kind of circumstance. We know what he can do. I am interested in this match, though. I want to see how these two clash. But the presence of CT Keys just walking in the way he does is unnerving, really. But you kind of want to watch and keep your eye on what's going to happen. He doesn't need the extra members of the in game to interfere, although I don't have any doubt that they would be there. But it's going to be a good one.
Yeah. And see, that's where I'm a little worried for Naja, because just like last month when he was taking on Nick Halen, those extra members, the numbers game came into play here. And I mean, that's their MO. I mean, so Naja's got to keep that head on a swivel. It'd be good for Naja to make a few friends before next Friday to maybe come out to the ring, kind of watch his back a little bit. But
maybe hang out in the Dark City or something.
Hey, there's an idea. There's an idea. But
Mm-hmm.
moving on, next matchup. This one I'm looking forward to this one. So last month, let me take it back. Earlier this month, December 8th. It was just a few weeks ago. And when it was a second Friday, it always makes it seem a lot closer together. And so it's like, wow, didn't we just have the last show? Anyways,
Yeah.
so my second favorite moment from the last show was when Anthony Ogogo hit the governor's hammer and laid out Cornelius Pepperbottom, securing his first victory inside an SHW ring. We were all shocked to see the debut of the governor, Anthony Ogogo. And now he's going to be back next Friday, and he's going to be taking on the returning Alexander Moss, the absolute truth, Alexander Moss. And I was trying to remember, you guys have to help me here, earlier this year, and I don't remember exactly what show, what month, but he showed up and he took on Ashton Starr. He put on one heck of a fight. And Ashton, of course, came out ahead in that matchup, of course. So Moss is going to be coming in here wanting that first SHW victory under his belt. But he's got to face the governor to do it. But the thing is, Moss is no pushover, so the governor's going to have his hands full. Moss is going to have his hands full. It's going to be quite a fight here. So I'm looking forward to this one. What about you guys?
I believe it was the same show that Carly got signed, correct? Or announced that.
Correct.
There you go.
SHW50.
There you go. Yep.
Yeah. I'm excited. I did a little research on Mr. Ogogo since the last show, and wow. I mean, really, wow. I didn't realize how experienced he was in the boxing world, but going back to the boxing, Pep's not having a good time with the boxers in SHW, and I'll just leave that there. Sorry. Let's see if we can find another one next time he shows his face. Either way, Alexander Moss was a good competitor for Ashton Starr at that SHW50, but with Ogogo being like a whole nother league, and it's just going to be like I don't know. It's going to be good regardless. It's going to be good, but I don't know. I don't know who to call on this one.
Yeah, this is a pick'em for sure. For those who aren't familiar with Alexander Moss, I mean, he is the real deal. He's out of North Carolina, trained by LeBron Cozone, who has trained a ton of amazing talent out of North Carolina. And, I know in the rap world, we've said that the South has got something to say. North Carolina is included in that. And so the wars between North Carolina and Georgia have been a thing for a long time. I'm sure Anthony Ogogo doesn't really care about that. But for Alexander Moss to come into a Georgia promotion, he totally wants a win, and he really wants to make an impact. And I think, these guys have traveled some of the same spaces. They both spent some time in AEW. They both know what it's like to see the bright lights and the big stage. And so they really both need this win. Ogogo is really kind of making a comeback in the wrestling space. Alexander Moss is trying to prove himself as well. These are the kinds of matchups I like to see. Because, it's going to be tough to call it, which means we're going to have to watch. Anything can happen in this one. And taking nothing away from Anthony Ogogo, and respectfully, Alexander Moss is not Cornelius Pepperbottom.
No way.
Yeah. No, it's gonna be a whole different ball game come next Friday than it was a couple of weeks ago. So I think, but the thing is, we've seen Ogogo, we've seen him in his early wrestling days. I've called a number of his matches, and we know, and of course, if you're an Olympic boxer, if you've made it to that point, you have that athlete mentality of be ready for your opponent, do your homework, do your training. So I know that he won't be coming in here taking anything lightly. But just as a reminder, like you just said, this ain't Cornelius Pepperbottom. This is Alexander Moss. It's a whole different ball game. Not to take anything away from Pepperbottom, although it was really great to see him get laid out. But anyways, that's all I'm going to say about that. But man, this one's going to be good. I cannot wait. And I'm just excited that the governor is coming back. We saw him a couple weeks ago, and we weren't sure what that meant. Is he here? Is he in SHW? He's been known as the governor of AEW. And I said, well, maybe now he's the governor of SHW. And I didn't know if that meant he'd be coming back or not. And sure enough, here he is. So excited for that, for sure. Moving on down the card here. Earlier I talked about the Kenway seemingly kind of aligning himself with the end game early on in the show a few weeks ago. And then, of course, at the end of the show, we realized he was aligning himself with his brethren from the hierarchy, which who had his back all along. And it's been a rocky couple of months because we weren't sure, which way he was going to go. And it seems like, I think, he's officially aligned himself back with the hierarchy. But with that feud going on back and forth, we're going to see the Southern Honor champion Judias taking on the Kenway in singles action. Not quite sure about the put the title up situation. I don't know. I have a feeling Todd Sexton is doing everything in his power to not let this be a title match, but I don't know. I have not spoken to Jake the Snake Roberts, so I don't know. Not lately,
Really?
at least. Not lately.
I mean,
He
texts you randomly.
I had to say that because I knew you guys were going to be like, wait, I thought you had his number. Well, yeah, he has my number. Let's put it that way.
Hollywood parties or
I don't reach out to him. He reaches out to me. That's how this works.
cases of eggnog in the mail or something.
Oh, hey, who you been? Wait, are you just going through my mail?
I'm just saying. I mean,
second.
you don't have that in. We all obviously like that in.
Anywho, what I do know is that this match, what it has riding on it in my mind, is basically Endgame versus Hierarchy, and I don't envy the Kenway in this matchup because who in their right mind? I mean, yeah, I don't know. If you saw the video and the pictures that I posted earlier this week when Judias came over to the table and he swung the chain at us right at the end of the show, like, I don't know. We have a rule, GB, at the table. You want to tell everybody what that rule is?
Do not look at him in the face.
Yeah, no eye contact.
Don't make eye contact. Do not.
And so I don't feel bad. I do feel bad for anybody that has to go one-on-one with him. And in this case, it's the Kenway. I know he's kind of fighting for the pride of the hierarchy here, but man, I just don't know. I just don't know. I mean, Joe Black had his hands full with him the last show. And if anybody could take him down, we all thought it'd be Joe Black, and it should have been Joe Black. There was some chicanery that took place.
Totally did.
But in this case, no offense to the Kenway, I just be careful, man. That's all I'm saying. Just be careful. I'm worried about your safety, your health, and I don't know. We'll see how this one plays out. But what do you think?
I don't know. I have mixed emotions. I don't really know exactly which road to go on this one. I feel like maybe Kenway has something to prove to himself because of all the L's he's been carrying lately. Maybe he has something to prove to the hierarchy because we didn't know which way he was going to go last month. Is this a test? Maybe Murder has pulled some strings and put him in this match against the biggest guy in SHW holding the championship. Maybe this is one of those throw him in the deep and see if he can swim kind of thing. See how he comes up. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't. Anytime I hear about a singles person, against Judias, I always have flashbacks to that boot to the face of Corey. Those multiple boots to the face, and that was just a brutal match. And who's a better scrapper than Corey Hollis? And I don't know that Kenway really understands the level of brutality that could actually take place in this match. It's scary, but at the same time, I think we get to see what Kenway's made of. Truly made of. I mean, he went to the time limit with Chip. He did, but this is different. This is Judias, so we'll see.
I have a lot of questions. One of them is, I wonder, was this a well thought out plan from the hierarchy to try to infiltrate the end game? Or did the Kenway decide to kind of independently go on this mission to try to prove something to the hierarchy? Did he figure, well, I'm going to try to work my way in and gain some secrets and come back with some intel? What I don't think he planned for was that there would be an attempt for retaliation. You cannot pull off something like that with the end game and think you get away scot-free. not the case. I mean, he literally looked as though he was part of the end game, did their dirty work earlier at SHW57. So, yeah, they're not going to let that go untouched. And I think this match is happening because Todd Sexton said, we're going to teach him a lesson. And so you had choices. Could have been CT Keys, but CT Keys is, narcissism's mad at him. Could have been, some other people, but they said, no. We're not even going to give you other people in here. You're going to get the guy.
Right.
And that is frightening to me. You talked about how Judias handled Corey Hollis. I remember watching those boots to the face, and that was for somebody he said he loved.
Right.
What will he do to somebody he clearly doesn't like? So if I am the man who calls himself the Infinity Stone, I need to go straight Thanos on this. Yeah. I need to absolutely go in with both guns blazing and potentially do what nobody else has really been able to do. Now, I don't know if he can outperform Joe Black. I don't know that anybody can outperform Joe Black. Joe Black made Judias tap.
He did.
Well, no, he passed him out. He passed out.
I mean, which is worse, right? Like making a man voluntarily submit or involuntarily submit.
Yeah.
It's bad. I don't know that the Kenway. So for the Kenway, I would love to know, like, did he volunteer for this match? Was he chosen for this match? Is he trying to prove that he deserves to be in the end game? There are a lot of questions that only him in the ring can answer. And I hope that there's enough after him in the ring for us to maybe ask the question.
Right.
Whew, time will tell. Got 1 week.
Time will tell.
1 week next Friday. It's going to be crazy. SHW58 Year of Honor kicking off the new year in a big, big way. 261 Marietta Road, Canton, Georgia. Come on out and join us. You're not going to want to miss it. But that's not all, folks. We've still got 3 more big matches to talk about.
We do.
So, earlier, GB, you mentioned some debuts. All right. We talked about Fluffman making his in-ring debut. We've got a couple other big debuts coming up as well. Tag team action. Of course, we're familiar with the Akudo Death Society. They've been there a few times. They actually gave the Hierarchy a heck of a fight several months back, and then they had a good showing in that tag team gauntlet a couple of months ago. So they'll be back. Kevin Ryan, Chris Krunk, and they'll be taking on the debuting former Ring of Honor World Champion Jonathan Gresham, of all people, making his way to the Action Building, to Southern Honor Wrestling. And not only that, but a guy that we know from the Nightmare Factory that Gresham has taken under his wing, so to speak, the up-and-coming Michael Solar. Okay, now we've seen Solar at the last few Nightmare Factory student showcases. We called his graduating class several months back, or maybe that might have been about a year ago. They all kind of blur together. I can't remember which one's which. But anyways, Solar got a good head on his shoulders, a good athlete, all the potential in the world. But here's what's something we talked about this at the last showcase a couple of weeks ago. The change in attitude from Michael Solar, the very first time we saw him, all the way through the last several showcases. I don't know if he's bringing that attitude to SHW, or if now that he's under the wing of Gresham, if Gresham's going to kind of get him in line and get him to focus the way he needs to focus. I don't know here, but I'm excited to see what kind of Michael Solar we're going to get under the tutelage of Jonathan Gresham. On top of that, I'm super excited to see Jonathan Gresham at SHW, which is, I think, blew a lot of people's minds when that graphic got posted earlier this week. I mean, people were sharing that thing like crazy and tagging all their friends in it, like, hey, check this out, check this out. So I'm excited to see. I think we're going to have a great crowd on hand to welcome him to SHW next Friday. So should be a fun one.
Yeah. That's a pairing I would have never imagined.
No kidding.
It's odd. But, I'm not the one who makes the matches, so I'm not going to be the one to criticize. I'm just going to look forward to what's going to happen. Always good to see Akudo Death Society come back to SHW. I have not seen Jonathan Gresham wrestle personally, like real time. I've seen him on TV, of course, but not seen him face to face. Back to Solar. the attitudes, like you said, that he is carrying with him into the Nightmare Factory shows and everywhere. He's a chatterbox. He is a talker. He likes to engage with the fans and talk trash. And he's got this annoying, obnoxious way about him, but you gotta love the guy. I'm excited to see what happens. I mean, everybody knows that Southern Honors fan base is they either love you or they hate you. They're going to talk you down or they're going to build you up. And that's going to be interesting to see how they react to Mr. Solar.
This is going to be interesting on so many levels. I mean, we have really come to enjoy the Akudo Death Society. They are a great tag team. They've had an opportunity at the tag titles. Well, no, an opportunity against the tag champions. That happened. And they had an impressive showing. So I think this is a great opportunity for them to really kind of build their stock and build their case. And they'll obviously be watching the tag title match, which I'm sure we'll be talking about. But this piece with Jonathan Gresham and Michael Solar, you know, there was a time where we didn't know the relationship between Tank and the Killbilly. And so, you know, if you look at them without knowing that, you'd go, this is an odd team.
Yeah.
Until you realize, oh, it's teacher and student. Oh, and then you start to see. So we haven't had the opportunity to see Solar, to our knowledge, under the tutelage of Gresham. What's interesting to me about this is Gresham must have a degree of confidence in Michael Solar to have him join forces with him to debut in Ring of Honor. We're talking about a guy, Jonathan Gresham, a former world champion for Ring of Honor. Matter of fact, held the Ring of Honor world title and the Progress World Championship simultaneously. I don't know that anybody else can say that they've done that. This guy is everywhere, a member of the Impact roster, at one point a top 10 wrestler on the PWI 500. Like, his accolades are longer than a CVS receipt. The challenge that we have here is, can the Akudo Death Society manage to get over their being starstruck at the awesome nature of Jonathan Gresham coming in the ring against them to actually focus on this? Because if they can't, Solar may not even need to get in the ring. Gresham can handle them. But it's a tag team situation, and that's what's interesting. And that's why we watch these matches, because you don't know. Like, we all might be shocked to see tag team continuity between Solar and Gresham. We just haven't seen it before. So I think this is an opportunity for us to learn about their relationship, what they can do as a tag team, and if it is enough to defeat the Akudo Death Society, who has certainly gelled as a tag team. This is going to be very interesting to watch. I think the eyes of the world will be on this one.
You know, I was hesitant to bring this up, but then I started thinking, well, you know, the last few showcases were actually open to the general public, so it's really no secret. But Gresham was actually at a showcase, maybe a couple showcases ago, something like that, where he saw, and we just thought he was there just kind of hanging out. You never know. Maybe he was there scouting. Maybe that's where he saw Solar for the first time. I'm not sure. But they obviously know about this match. It's been announced enough in advance. Perhaps they've been together. They've been training together. Maybe. I don't know. I'm just speculating. But maybe, like you said, we haven't seen them together in a ring, in an actual match. But that doesn't mean that behind the scenes they're not working together and kind of getting becoming a cohesive unit. Now, we know Akudo Death Society, they've been a tag team for quite a while. We've seen what they can do. Very impressive. And, man, I'm excited for this match on multiple levels. So very excited about that. But we also have a couple of big old championship matches coming up. One of those being one of Diana's favorites. The bad boy himself, Chip Day, will be back in action defending that Jake the Snake Legacy Championship against a guy who's been gunning for it ever since Still Here back in October. Now, if you'll recall, Hollywood Hunter James attacking Chip Day after successfully defending that title at Still Here. And ever since that time, we've been seeing Hunter James. That's all he's been letting people know. I want that title. I'm coming for that title. Well, meanwhile, at the same time, Chip Day, of course, he missed a month of action after taking a brain buster because of Hunter James. But Chip Day, all he wants to do is get his hands on Hunter James. So our great matchmaker, Jake the Snake Roberts, is going to give both guys what they want. He's going to give Hunter James a shot at the title, and he's going to give Chip Day a shot at Hunter James. So here we go. I can't wait. The title is on the line in this situation. So I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see Chip finally. I mean, he kind of sort of got his hands on Hunter briefly at the last show, but not enough, and so now he have no choice. Now we're going to be in an official match when that bell rings. Oh man, Chip, Chip is, he's fit to be tied after what happened after Still Here. So, but yeah, and don't forget that title's on the line though. So he's got to be careful. Can't get too crazy. Because Hunter's no pushover. We know this. We've seen him the last couple of months. He's on a hot streak. And thanks in a little, I almost said a little part, but maybe large part, to the guiding light. That old TV show, as GB likes to mention.
Mike. So let's not forget about
And now, yeah, you're right. The new movie Mike has aligned himself with Hunter James and Tristan Michaels as well. So Chip's got to worry about that numbers game here. But either way, JTS Legacy Championship match. I'm glad we're finally getting one again. It's been a couple of months, and so I'm excited for this matchup. Diana, I know you are as well. What do you think?
I want to see if we can get Chip on the pre-show next week. Can we do that? Let's see if we can do this, because I love to hear him get hyped up about the whole Kenway match. So this one right here is going to be huge. He may be too mad to even say anything. Really, just get it out. He just needs to put his hands on Hunter James. Forget what I said about Hunter James being by himself. He's just going to fall to the wayside like the rest of them. Okay, that's it.
All right.
When he compares to other people, he's his own person, but he's not taking this title from Chip. I'm sorry. Bad Boy's coming away with this.
Bad Boys for life.
Bad Boys for life.
There it is. Oh my goodness. This is going to be a very interesting match on a lot of spaces. In my mind, shout out to the Temptations. In my mind, I sit up and I think about
nice musical references.
I mean, it just happens,
I have to write them down so I can go back and just make a whole GB playlist.
That actually might be funny one of these days.
It would be miles long, this playlist. Think about that. You'd be writing.
This is for this show. This is for this show.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But it's funny though, because when I think about Chip Day, I think about him in the vein that I think of Athena in Ring of Honor as the #forever champ. Like, I don't see a scenario where Chip loses to somebody. Now, I do see a scenario where Chip gets out of control. Chip can't control his anger. And if that happens, Hollywood Hunter James could capitalize on that. This is the challenge of the difference between the Hollywood Hunter James we see now and the one that showed up at Still Here 5. Still Here 5, it seemed as though he worked on his own accord. But then he went out and he got some strategic assistance, the guiding light, Tristan Michaels, and now they're building a stable with Movie Mike. They are planning, they are plotting, and I would dare say, I wonder, could Movie Mike have gotten the best of Ashton Starr had he had a Tristan Michaels with him earlier? It seems as though Tristan Michaels was the only way he could get past Ashton Starr. Tristan Michaels is the it factor, the X factor, and you add that on top of what Hunter James has already done as the male performer of the year, going against the two-time technical wrestler of the year. This is going to be an instant classic, and it could go a lot of ways, folks. It could go a lot of ways. Chip might need backup, but then again, Chip has got lethal feet. Chip has got lethal hands. This is going to be a real test for Hunter James. And if Hunter James can pull this off, what a way to start 2024.
Oh, absolutely. And what a shocker I think it would be to everyone in the building that night, maybe except for Hunter and James. Tristan Michaels and maybe Movie Mike, if Hunter's able to pull it off. Yeah. Big if. But big like if. You said, GB, that forever champ idea, that mentality, I'm kind of the same way with Chip Day. However, when a numbers game situation comes into play, that's where I get worried. A one-on-one scenario all day long. Chip Day. I mean, I don't know who can beat him, but
that took on 5 other guys, y'all,
who were in the ring.
They were
as
in
opposed
the ring.
to, and
Legally.
they were helping to legally,
yeah.
and they were, you know, sometimes canceling each other out, having potentially other guys all focused on him could be difficult.
But he's been in it long enough. I think he's smart enough, and he's going to think about the fact that there's possibly going to be some outside interference. He's going to be prepared. Have faith.
Well, let's hope so. Yeah,
gotta have faith.
Yeah,
I'll let you insert that one.
There's another one.
Write that down.
Yeah. Well, I guess it would be nice. Oh, sorry.
There it is. There it is.
Here's what I'm thinking, that this match will be the Battle of the Brain Busters. Okay, you got the Brain Buster versus the Brain Buster.
Yeah.
As I've been instructed to say it by Hunter James. But so we'll see. He was this close to hitting it on Hunter James at the last show. Yeah. But Hunter was able to escape. But man,
with the help of movie Mike,
you know he's going to put a little stank on it this if Chip can get him and lock it in on him and hit him with it, because of what he did to Chip Day on the stage after at the end of Still Here, at the end of that match at Still Here. I mean, if Chip can get it on him, he's going to lay it in. I mean, we saw him hit a hard one on his former partner Kyle Matthews on the stage. I think this will be even more impactful, a little more powerful than that one. So I'm excited to see it happen. If it happens.
Not just as a finisher, but just because.
Yeah. Put him away and then hit him with it again.
Just because.
Yeah. All right. Well, another big old championship matchup. This one we've been waiting on for quite some time. I talked about that tag team gauntlet match a couple of months ago, where the winners would become the #1 contenders for the SHW tag titles. And winning that match, none other than Happy Badness, Sunny Day, Sal Rinauro, and they finally get their shot here. A rematch from many months ago when the Hierarchy defeated them for those tag titles. So Sunny Day, Sal Rinauro taking on Joe Black, Murder One. You know Joe's going to be in some kind of mood after what happened at the end of the last show. Hopefully, that's not going to make him lose focus here in this particular tag team match. So hopefully he's focused for the task at hand, and we'll see the Hierarchy if they can retain these tag team titles. Because I've said it show in and show out over the last several months. I feel like Joe and Murder have been our most dominant tag team champions in the 5 years, now just over 5 years, of Southern Honor Wrestling. So, but if there's one team that could possibly pull away with it, Sunny Days, Sal Rinauro, these guys, they're not all there. They're a little screwy. You never know. You never know. The maniacal laugh of both guys is just something that like keeps me up at night. So I don't know, guys, but we'll see. It's going to be a good one. That'll probably, again, I don't know the order of the matches. My guess was this will be probably the main event, but we'll see. In my mind, it's at least one of the main events. So what do you guys think?
Well, we haven't seen Sal in a ring in a while. I know he was out for a while, but he's still Sal. He's still great. He's crazy as heck, but he's still great. And I know Sonny's coming off that huge feud with Kill Billy, and that was gruesome and gross. But have we had just help me out? Have we had a champion or champions more decorated with a heavier back than the Hierarchy? They have 4 tag titles, y'all. 4 tag titles
simultaneously.
That's huge. Yeah, I mean, all at the same time. I mean,
and think about this, because at one point, Sonny and Sal held at least 2 that if I recall correctly.
Any team ever had 4?
Right. No, you're right. You're right. But that's what makes this even more intriguing, because you have 2 dominant tag teams in Georgia, in the Southeast, getting ready to clash here. So
I'm going to go and say Hierarchy is probably the most dominant ever in Georgia. Ever.
That's a strong statement.
And you know what? I mean, that's a pretty fair statement.
I'm not arguing with him.
Yeah.
No, they've got the trophies to prove it. I mean, all at one time, it's like they are the team to beat in Georgia now, right now. And dude, there's no dishonor, there's no whatever. this is just hierarchy versus Happy Madness. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be wild. You know, the kind of matches they love to do either way. It can get crazy. It can get psychotic. But I honestly don't feel that hierarchy's going to lose their titles this time. It's going to be a fight, but I don't think their bag is going to lighten after this show.
Yeah, so it's interesting because when the hierarchy battled Happy Madness for the tag titles, Happy Madness, kind of got away on a technicality. Right. And then when it was supposed to be a tables match, that's when Sal got injured and Cruel stepped in. And it seemed like, that could be more intimidating, but Cruel and Sonny weren't on the same page. And of course, the hierarchy were able to take advantage. So this is really, if you think about it, hierarchy has not scored a victory, a title win over Happy Madness, which is interesting. I think Sonny has been all over the place, which is why he got wrapped up in this war with the Killbilly, because I think the only safe place that Sonny has is with Sal. It's the only safe place. Everywhere else, he just feels lost. He feels out there. But there's a part of me that wonders if they should change their theme music to Crazy from Gnarls Barkley, because that's literally how they are. They're nuts. Technically, either team could run with that because there's a wee bit of crazy on the side of the hierarchy. They love to fight. They love being in these unpredictable scenarios. This is going to be a crazy match because you're looking at the last two teams to hold the SHW tag team titles. You're also looking at the two teams who have arguably been the most dominant tag teams in the state of Georgia over the last 2 years. This is really a major, major match coming to us next Friday. What a way to kick off the year, to kick off, again, the tag team division. This is going to be crazy. I can't wait to see what happens. And in a regular match, I don't know. It's going to be wild.
Yeah. It's going to be wild indeed. We can't wait till next Friday. We can't wait for you guys to join us at the Action Building, 261 Marietta Road, Canton, Georgia. Come on out. Tickets go on sale at the door starting at 5 p.m. Tickets start at just $15. Kids 10 and under are free. Doors open at 7, bell time at 8. Of course, we'll be doing this show as the pre-show starting at 7 o'clock, 7 to 7:30. So even if you're there, you can flip on your phone and check us there. Or if you're at home, you can watch us. But we want you to come join us. So come join us. Don't even think about it. Just come on out and join us. What else you got to do on a Friday night? Come on, folks.
First Friday of the year.
Friday night of the year? Come on, spend it with us.
We're going to be kicking off 2024 the biggest way we know how. SHW58, Year of Honor. Like we said, championship matches, big debuts for SHW. It's going to be awesome. Every show is awesome. We can't wait for you guys to be there. We're going to be there, and we can't wait. But until then, I'm trying to think. Is there anything else? I think that's it. That's covered everything, right?
This is our last show before New Year's. So
that's right.
Our last show of the year.
Everyone. And this is the last.
Absolutely.
Last show of the year.
Isn't that crazy? Mm-hmm. So yes, Happy New Year. New Year's Eve is Sunday. So in 2 nights. So be safe. Have fun. If you're shooting fireworks, take precautions. All that good stuff.
Reverse, Harry.
Nice. If you know, you know. And I would think hopefully most of you should know.
And if you don't,
back it up. But yes, Happy New Year's, everybody. We can't wait to see you next Friday. That's going to do it for this week. But until next week, this has been
SHW.
This is our wrestling.
Bam.
Yes.